Good morning. This morning I'd like to talk to you about this defensive driving. So, if you would work with me here a little bit and relax and imagine for a moment, if you will, that you're behind the wheel of your car and you're driving down this nice, peaceful road. Very little traffic. It's straight, very few turns. The sun's behind your back. You're nice and warm. You've got a full belly. Your radio is playing your favorite station, and you had just thought to yourself that you could do this for hours. I mean, you are in the zone. This is great. And then your phone rings. So, toodaloo, you're bebopping down the road, and your phone rings. It's in the seat beside you. So you're patting around the seat. You know, it's not working. You can't reach it. You're not going to find it. Quick glance. Oh, it's bounced to the outside of your reach zone. You're going to have to reach for it. But instead of pulling over and getting it, you look down the road and there's nobody in the road. It's a straight line. You can do this. So you do. And you reach. And you get it. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got it. And you come back in, you're readjusting your seat as you bring your eyes up over top of the dash and you see, BAM! You just hit a disabled vehicle in the road. It wasn't there before. It's there now. When you slam your vehicle down the roads at 70, 80 miles an hour and you're hurtling thousands of pounds of steel and glass, the hazards are immense. They're catastrophic, and they happen. You'd be surprised how quickly you can cover a football field at 70 miles an hour. And I want to congratulate you because you have managed to just kill yourself and everybody in that disabled vehicle because you just went through it. Hi, my name is Dirk. I'm a health and safety manager for a construction company, and I've been doing my job for about 20 years. In particular, the last 2 years or so, I've paid particularly attention to distracted driving, complacency while driving, if you must. Because of the fact that my wife and I have lost our son. We lost our son to a single car accident 2 years ago in May. Now, we don't know for sure what it was that made him veer off the road, whether it was an animal or another vehicle, but I can confirm through phone records that he was texting at the time of impact. He wrapped his truck around a tree. It blew up, and he melted in the ensuing fire, him and the truck beyond recognition. Folks, that's a pain that's so unnatural in this world for a parent to bury a child, and the pain is something you just don't come back from. I hope nobody in the audience has to experience that. It's our children these days that they do this so often. They get behind the wheel without incident, and they think it's a game. They say they know the dangers, but until it actually happens to them, it doesn't set in. The National Safety Council reports 1.6 million crashes a year, a direct result of distracted driving. AAA, American Automobile Association, concludes that 94% of teens acknowledge the dangers of texting driving. 94% of teens surveyed say, yeah, we know there's a problem. We know we shouldn't do it. But almost 40% state they continue to do it nationwide. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control, and I didn't know this, but they they perform a youth risk health behavior survey. And they've determined that in June of last year, it showed 42% of teen drivers reported that they texted and emailed while driving within the last 30 days. South Dakota teens held the record. There was almost 62% of South Dakota teens would email and text and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram while they were driving. Massachusetts students, they came in with a lotus rate of 31%. That's still an enormous amount of our young people driving down the road putting everybody on the road at risk, not just themselves. They say they know the risks. They don't seem to care. I don't understand that. I do know that I found an app. It's an app from AT&T. You don't have to be an AT&T subscriber. This app is free to anybody. It doesn't even matter what phone you have. Whether you have an iPhone, whether you have an Android, it fits on any phone. It's called AT&T Safe Drive Mode. It engages at 15 miles an hour. It blocks all incoming calls and incoming texts. It returns a text or a call to the caller saying, "I'm driving. It's not worth my life. Thank you, but I'll return your call when I'm done." The nice thing is, if you put it on your teenager's phone, and they disable it, it will send you an alert that it has been disabled. Another trick that I like to use, especially with my people in the field, is how to fight complacency. And it's a human nature trick. I find that over the years that if you watch the guy beside you working and you watch him doing something unsafe, it internalizes. It makes you self-correct. If you watch him doing something unsafe with his hands, you're going to check your hands and make sure you're putting them where they are safe, where you're doing right. If he's climbing a ladder incorrectly, you're going to check and make sure you're climbing the ladder correctly, safely. And hopefully, if he's doing something extravagantly unsafe, you will get involved and you will talk to him and say, "Hey Joe, be careful what you're doing. Watch out where you're putting your hands. You're fixing to walk off into a hole. Pay attention." Hopefully you'll say something before major bodily harm occurs. Same thing with driving. If you're driving down the road and you happen to you pull up on somebody and you glance over and they're reading a map and it's covered the windshield and they're looking over it and looking down, looking over it, looking down, but they're all over the road. Or they're putting on makeup in the mirror. Or they're eating a hamburger. They got their ear to their phone, eating a hamburger. They're driving with their knees and they're writing directions or something on a piece of paper. You're gonna take yourself out of the line of fire. You're gonna speed up. You're gonna slow down. You're gonna move out of the lane. You're gonna take yourself out of the line of fire. I do it, and I get mad at the same time. I try to get their attention. I'll honk my horn. I'll wave my fist. I've even been known to yell at them. Not that they can hear me, but they're putting not only their life at risk, but my life, my daughter's life, my mother's life, everybody else around them. Our lives are affected by these nincompoops. I've watched people drive down the road with a book propped on their steering wheel, flipping pages. They're reading a book, and they're driving at 75 miles an hour. So, when you take yourself out of the line of fire, when you notice somebody like this and you back up and you move out of the way, you self-correct. For the briefest of moments, you'll realize, and next time, do it. Try to remember this, and you'll see that you will have become the driver that we all became when we were learning how to drive. That was the perfect driver. We had our hands at 10 and 2. We had our eyes forward. We checked our rear view mirror. We checked our side mirrors. We checked our speed. We did all this in a fraction of a moment. We had situational awareness all the way around us. We knew where the buffer zones were. We were in the zone. We knew what was going on. And then this guy's going to pull ahead or slow down or get behind us or whatever. And then pretty soon down the road, we're going to relax a little bit and we're going to go back to the one-arm driving, eating a pretzel. We have to be careful. In closing out, I just want to say that I appreciate you listening to me. I hope you look into the app, AT&T Safe Drive Mode. I hope you install it. I've installed it on all of my family's phones. I highly recommend it. I also hope that when you get behind the wheel, you think about what you're doing and you arrive alive. Thank you very much.